Hello and welcome to Is There Something in This, the podcast where Jason Chatfield and Scott Dooley, that's me, come up with New Yorker cartoons for the New York.
You nearly
close.
did it.
You
nearly did it.
I was close on that one.
Sorry, I whacked
That
it.
felt terrible. It
You
felt bad
got
from start.
so close.
No, do you know what I felt like? I felt like, you know when you watch the giant slalom
Yeah.
and you see them, you know, and they maybe get through 4 or 5 more gates.
You got to.
And then they flip into that weird orange mesh fence on the side,
Yeah.
and you just hear one person with a cowbell that didn't get the memo that his
Yeah.
leg's broken, like ding, ooh.
You know how it felt to me? It felt like the guy celebrating the marathon at the very end, putting his
love
arms
this guy.
up as
And
the
then
guy
someone runs
sprints
past.
past. That's
Yeah.
how it felt just now.
I like the guy who's celebrating the Tour de France stage,
Yeah.
arms up, gets the wobbles.
Against the walls. That is heartbreaking.
That's one of the YouTube cartoons that I always will go. The YouTube videos I will always go to,
They're not all cartoons, mate.
which is the celebrating too early.
Yeah, it's a supercut, yeah.
Yeah,
There's
that
a lot of supercuts.
mascots falling over.
Yeah.
Always funny.
Oh, mascots fighting.
Mascots fighting is always great.
Some of these guys have skills. They're like UFC guys.
Well, I remember the North Sydney Bears in the Sydney Rugby League,
Go
in the
on.
Australian Rugby League.
Yeah.
He got. BJ Bear got 2 weeks for abusing a touch judge.
Sounds like the mascot.
And the rabbit.
Sounds like a mascot of a strip club.
And the rabbit,
Yeah.
Rabbito Man or whatever his name was,
Yeah.
he got, he belted someone, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez, that's
And there was another one, I think it was, maybe I'm getting
not in
myself
Australia.
confused.
Not Biffo.
But I
at a
think it was
sports game.
after the match, and
Really?
he'd gone to the RSL, like the RSL, the Leagues Club,
Yeah,
after the game, and had a
Yeah.
couple of jars, and someone said, "Oh, are you the mascot?" And he goes,
Can't
"Oh,
believe
fuck, come here! What are you looking?"
What are you doing? You ain't fucking
And the guy
bathwater.
got belted up. There you go. Bit of a footy work.
Here we go. Yeah, I've heard. Have you now? For our American listeners, there's a term that gets used sometimes if someone's getting a bit full of themselves, bit arrogant, bit self-celebratory. In Australia, they say, "Oh, mate, that fucking bastard, he drinks his fucking bathwater." Drinks his own bathwater.
Yeah.
Can you think of a more perfect saying to articulate the thought behind that?
Yeah.
Isn't that my Uncle Greg he constantly talks in nothing but those.
Footy cliches.
Yeah, he's from Altona.
Right.
And he constantly, all his mates are old footy players and bar owners and gamblers and horse owners. So he just constantly talks to them, and you just have to learn that language. And then yeah, that vernacular. He's just, mate, look at this buzz. Looks like he fell out of a fucking Christmas tree. Just because he's wearing
What's that
clothes that are fashionable.
Oh.
Looks like he fell out of a fucking Christmas tree.
What's that mean, though? Like, he's
It just
flamboyant.
means colourful, any colours or any kind of fashionable
That's pretty funny.
fashion sense at all. Look at this fucking like because he drives a car, drives a ute all day, and he just
Is this the guy that sends you weird
Yes.
voicemails?
Yeah.
I think you played me a couple of them.
Greg, yeah.
Yeah.
He always has a couple of jokes that his mates text him as well.
Yeah.
Yep. So you've learnt something there, ladies and gentlemen. Drink your own bathwater.
So now there's no meeting this week, or
No
they're not
cartoon
accepting no cartoons. So we're just going to do listener suggestions.
Very
These are my
special-
favourite things now.
Minipod. Can I tell you, we have had a relentless torrent of suggestions.
Really?
And thank you to everyone who sent them.
Where
Please.
can people get them to you?
People can send them into my Instagram at Jason Chatfield or email them to jasonchatfieldcomedy@gmail.com. Thank you. You know what? We even got, the first one I'm going to read, someone even drew a picture.
Oh, that's a bit much.
Drink
Come
his
on,
own
mate.
fucking
Drinks his
bathwater.
own bathwater.
This one was from actually a previous suggester, and I'm going to hang back from reading too many previous suggestors. But Hayes, remember Hayes? Yeah. So he's drawn one, and it's Jesus talking to a bald, bearded man in a robe.
Sure.
Okay. And this is apropos of an idea that we threw against the wall a while back on a previous episode.
Yeah.
About half God on my dad's side.
Oh, yeah, that's
Remember
right.
that one? That was one of yours.
Yeah.
So he's gone, hey, mate, off something you guys said on the pod, completely inspired. My drawing skills don't stack up to yours in any measure, but nonetheless gave it a go. the
You could have
caption-
contradicted him, but you didn't. You just
Nope.
went for it.
Went straight for it. Went straight for it. It's Jesus talking to a guy in a robe saying, "I'm allowed to say it. I'm half God on my father's side."
I
You know how
don't
people
mind.
defend being
I don't
a
mind
bit,
that.
A little bit racist sometimes.
yeah,
Oh, come
yeah.
on, my brother's half Asian, or you know.
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
No, my wife's Chinese. I can say that. I can say it. I can say that word. I'm
Just
half.
trying to think who he's talking to. Yeah, no, I understand the
so-
reference.
No. I'm just throwing it in there, just letting it rattle around. In
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
So who's he?
Jesus just talking to a mate. Jesus had.
I like the idea of Jesus and a
several mates.
mate.
Yeah. The mates. They all wrote that book. Remember?
They all wrote a book
were they
each.
They had a book
The
each.
disciples.
Yeah. Oh, they did.
Yeah. Well,
No,
4
I
of
think
them
you'll find
did.
their mates, but yeah, disciples. If you
4
want
of
to
them
be
did.
formal.
Uh,
4 of them did. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John wrote
Yeah.
them, and then there was, a couple of others.
So 8 of them didn't.
8 of them did. What lazy mates aren't writing about your exploits?
Maybe they were the good friends. Because the bad ones, because every time a celebrity does something bad, they get sold out. By like Amy Winehouse's dad.
close to Jesus
yeah.
said to OK Magazine
Yeah.
that he was upset about the breakup.
That's kind of funny, the idea of
Sources close to Jesus
Jesus being,
said. Yeah, like a celeb.
yeah.
Because those 4 who wrote the books of Matthew, Mark,
The
Luke, and
tell-alls.
John, the tell-alls, should I say, they took a deal. They took a book deal when the others went, nah, that's a bit tacky.
They did a show with
They were the
King
bad.
James edition.
King James was the Hello magazine of those times.
yeah.
That's not bad, actually. Yeah, they did have a situation back then where everyone, because those books, mate, they sold. Boy,
Did they though?
sell.
It wasn't until the printing
Well,
press that they really took off.
Yeah, but
At the time.
think of the
It wasn't like
royalties.
heavy metal parking lot where it was video getting passed around.
Think of the royalties, though. Mate, if you're related to Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John, you could coast on that. You could buy a nice Bondi mansion.
Nah, you couldn't. No, it's
Really?
the equivalent of being like, it's like being Gucci Mane's grandson. It's like, it's not generational. This money is not generational. You know what I mean?
That's what I do.
Like Blue Ivy,
Yeah.
they're fine. Those kids are fine.
First round?
The first round,
Yeah.
Blues kids are fine.
Yeah.
I'd even say Blues kids will be
Yeah?
all right.
Okay.
Well, just because Beyonce songs and Jay songs are going to be popping up in movies forever.
I love the optimism that you think there isn't a nuclear holocaust somewhere in there.
Well, that's right. Yeah,
That's
but
nice.
let's just say notwithstanding.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
someone's got to put a soundtrack to that.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So
true.
then, but then someone like Bow Wow's kids.
Oh, Lil Bow Wow.
Lil Bow Wow.
Sorry, I
Well,
think
no,
you're
he
fine.
dropped the Lil.
No, because he
Yeah,
grew up.
He grew up.
I was upset to read that you were ending your rap career indefinitely on the back of that information becoming
Oh, right.
apparent to you.
Don't-
Sorry, no. Anyway, so the next suggestion, ladies and
Wait,
gentlemen.
so what are we doing with the Jesus
Oh yeah,
one?
Jesus one. I like it.
Well, it's just our joke.
It's just a joke that we made that has been rejigged to be.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I like it.
It's not a
I
bad
think
twist on it,
It's
admittedly.
a pretty good twist on an old
But I
classic.
think I just don't see that kind. I like that angle, but for something else.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
the I can say it thing is always.
and that's a very like sensitive. The cartoon better be funny if you're making a joke about that.
Yeah.
Because everyone's just so hypersensitive.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
They're just going to spin it however they want it. Fake news.
What if it's a mule saying, "Oh no, I can say it. My mum was a horse."
Because a mule's half horse.
half donkey.
That's not terrible.
You know what I
Although
mean?
Are we
But
comparing?
that's the one thing.
Because
That's,
then if people draw the comparison, they go, "Oh, what are you calling them? Are you calling?"
So, well, do you know what?
I'm playing devil's
I know,
advocate.
and to those people, I say, well, that's
I'm-
on you. You can't
yeah.
project something onto me and then go, well, that's clearly about the Vietnam. What do you mean? No,
Yeah.
you just
No,
said that.
You made that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did that.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it.
But
That doesn't make a difference
I'm
anymore.
Trying to think of.
They can project.
What about a
anything onto
liger then?
that. A liger.
A half lion, half tiger.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Do they mate?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were mates.
Well,
That's weird.
They might. I don't know. I don't know the
Liger.
nature of the relationship.
Did you
I know
watch
the
this-
outcome. They might be hate fucking each other.
Did
I
you
don't
watch
know.
this on the Cartoon Network?
No, it's a thing.
Is that a real
yeah,
thing?
Yeah, yeah,
I feel like I've missed a trick here. A liger.
yeah.
I'm bewildered.
I don't know how to respond to you not knowing something.
That's the whole podcast. It's just me not knowing stuff. All right, let's move on, shall we?
Yeah.
What do you think? All right. So the next one comes from Nick. Good on you, Nick. He's his chats and duels. Firstly, nice work on the cast. It's a cast. It's not a pod. It's a cast.
Oh, I like that.
It's a cast.
That's a new twist on an old favourite.
Isn't it just?
Have you ever heard it referred
I've
to
never
as
heard
as a
anyone call it a
cast?
cast. I feel like Nick's new to the pod world. But I quite like
Or
it.
maybe he's an orig.
He might be an OG. So only started listening a week or so
No,
ago.
that answers that.
So still on catch up.
Yeah, good.
I listen to it at work. So in an effort not to laugh out loud, I end up doing this weird breathing thing.
I thought he was going to say something mean then. Go, so in an effort to not laugh out loud, I listened to your podcast.
I necked myself. It's a bit creepy, so thanks for that.
Good.
Cool. I'm about halfway through episode 9 and found the conversation around America's shootings and what goes through your minds now when you go to a movie just flat out disturbing. It is. But continuing that thought process, is there something in making the NRA the illness? Apologies if you explore this in a later episode. A doctor standing in front of a patient. The bad news is we found a stage 4 NRA. The good news is, with some treatment and small changes, we can cure it. FYI, if you haven't seen Sammy J's bit on going to school in America, do yourself a favour and have a look. Thanks, Molly. All right, keep making me laugh, Nick. Now, we did pitch a joke. For any new listeners, we did pitch a joke, which was a doctor talking to a patient saying, well, it's cancer. But now's not the time to be talking about cancer.
That's right. That's right.
Because usually the NRA
The common
is-
refrain from
yeah.
the NRA. I
Um,
think making the NRA a disease is a bit SS.
oh, wow. First SS of the episode.
Well, it's a bit, don't you think? It's a bit
Well,
kind of obvious. I like the idea of cancer and then...
Sure, you have to figure it out. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of what we were umming now.
We
I
had a big-
vaguely remember.
Well,
what
we had a
umming.
big, long chat about cancer being a trigger for a lot of people anyway. So doing a joke with cancer in it. May I say, we sold that cartoon to Man Magazine. So,
Well, yeah.
it was a cracker.
That's right. Yeah, it was a good joke. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think in the interest of just exploring the idea, bad news is we found stage 4 NRA. Good news is with some treatment and small changes we can cure it. The problem is you can't cure the NRA.
That's my problem with that.
The analogy isn't accurate.
It falls down at the start of the...
You fall flat in the
I
analogy.
mean, do you
in
even
that-
need the second part? We
Not
found
really.
a stage 4 NRA.
NRA.
That's pretty funny.
I'm very sorry it's terminal.
There you
I mean,
go.
that NRA is like you're never going to cure NRA.
It
It
is
is literally like a cancer. It just spreads and then, yeah. I think that might be the idea.
What about the idea of like not knowing if people are raising money for or against the NRA? Because I think of, I was thinking of
Interesting.
one of my
NRA fundraiser.
favorite jokes
Yeah.
of the election period was someone had, and it was just recently, someone had defaced Donald Trump's star on the Hollywood
Oh yes, again.
Walk of Fame
Yes,
again, and
that's
it's
right, yeah.
forever happening. And when he first ran, someone defaced it with a bunch of swastikas,
Oh,
and it
I don't remember that.
and it
Okay.
was like a bunch of swastikas and Nazi stuff,
Oh.
and someone wrote, I honestly don't know if this was done by someone opposing or supporting.
That's really funny. That's very funny.
And that really stuck with me as such a lovely, and the NRA, that kind of thing of,
Yeah.
oh, do you have some money for the NRA? Or where your idea of fundraising,
Yeah.
an NRA related fundraiser, and not knowing,
Are
are we for this or
Yeah, am I raising money for you guys or against?
maybe Planned Parenthood would be a better one.
Yeah, that's a way more pertinent one.
Because they do more fundraising.
Yeah. That's
The NRA tends to just give money.
yeah, don't they just? To weapons manufacturers, I think you'll find.
Is that what we're calling senators now?
Yes, it actually is. All right, we're going to move on because we got a few.
Okay.
Okay. Here he is. Sployd void. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sploid void.
Exploit the void.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Wonderful listeners, thank you for listening.
That's it. That's an Instagram handle.
It is an Instagram handle.
Yeah,
It's a
so
GM.
that's not a person's.
Can you imagine how many requests? You know, in Instagram it says 4 people are requested to message you. How many of those are just completely random, and how many are listeners going, "I've got one for you."
Yeah.
You gotta weed them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I've got one. 2 blokes are watching the footy. Oh, I'm in. Swans versus Pies.
Yeah.
Pies getting pumped as per. Hang on, what does pumped mean?
I mean, getting beaten.
Oh, really? Well,
I'm feeling the New Yorker crowd may be confused.
I feel like your intro needs more clarification. We write New Yorker cartoons, ladies and gentlemen. Swans kick a goal. First bloke jumps up in celebration and raises his hand to high five his mate. His mate glances up from staring at his phone and says, can't you just link it to me? Oh, wow, that was painful.
Yeah,
it's an anti-Collingwood cartoon.
Well, no. I mean, forget the sport, but
yeah.
I think that this people on their phones thing, it has to be a real banger now.
Because there's
a lot of them.
And straight from the the editor's mouth, as it were, she is telling me every time I send one of these in a batch, she goes, "You wouldn't believe how many of these I get every week." Literally, she goes through 1,000 cartoons a week, and maybe 500 are phone-related jokes.
I think it's fallen into, for us, for our purposes, it's probably a daily technique for a topical story.
For sure.
As opposed to it being a standalone observation, because it's been made.
It's so ubiquitous now.
And it's also a thing that, we just have phones now.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
It's like having feet.
Correct.
Everyone's got them now.
But it's like, it'd be like after evolution, when the foot really had kind of come in.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of early cave drawings, a lot of stand-up, caveman stand-up clubs. Would you please welcome to the stage, Thag? What's the deal with feet? And you're like, oh, what a hack. We've heard this.
Yeah, right?
You've been saying this for the last 1,000 years.
Everyone's got a feet bit.
Yeah.
It's
just his stump gear. He just changed stump to foot. I know what he's doing. It's lazy. I mean, he's still one of the greats, but lazy.
It's a 2 mammoth minimum. It's a very funny image, by the way. What a dumb joke. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I don't mind the idea of a caveman stand-up club.
Yeah, right. What's he doing? Hey,
I don't know what his bit is though.
I'm here all week. Try the mammoth. It's so silly.
Try the mammoth. That's a Flintstones joke.
It?
Yeah,
that's why I always love the Flintstones.
Me too.
You're
I
a big
mean, in particular.
fan.
Yeah.
Same with the Simpsons.
Oh no, I didn't say it was a bad joke. I said it was a Flintstones joke, which is
not the same
a compliment.
thing.
Yeah.
Anything with a phone now, as you say, has to be very clever, but you've come to the right people, mate. So, unpronounceable Instagram, mate.
So clever we can't pronounce a name.
So I reckon there's something in the idea of someone at a sports game, everyone's head down in their phones. Like I was at the Yankee game yesterday, and they were shellacking the Royals, right? And they had a doubleheader on Saturday, 1 apiece. So this was a decider, right?
Sure.
And that, to me, is like, everyone should be glued to the field. What a fun thing to watch. No, everyone was on their phone. And this is just normal. This is the norm now. Everyone's on their phone.
Yeah.
They're gramming, they're getting selfies in front of the field, they're texting their mates over in the bleachers. Like, it's just, everyone's just on their phone.
Yes, yeah.
At the very end, when it was the decider, we had bases loaded. All we needed was one to get home. We're done. Everyone's phone. It was like a concert, like a Coldplay concert in 2008, 2009, when everyone just started to be able to film things,
Right.
And it was just a sea of phones, and you're just trying to watch the play, and then never looking at that again. Maybe they'll post it to Instagram, but I mean, even then.
It's probably more an ad than anything, but someone in that situation going, hey, that guy's got a pixel, so we can watch it through that.
Yeah. Oh, actually. Actually, I was stuck at a subway station and I couldn't see to the end of the platform. And some genius put his phone up ahead of him, like above his head with the camera on. And we could all see what the hold-up was at the end of the line. Oh. That was I wouldn't have thought to do it. It was like a periscope.
Yeah.
It's like the car periscope in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Which was, I've been going back and watching Seinfeld. It was originally an idea that Kramer had when he looked into the future.
Yes. That's very true. Yeah, there's a couple of those actually.
Yeah, that's
Season
funny.
5, there's a couple of them.
Yeah.
That come back in
It was
Curb.
a bit of a Larry thing.
Yep.
So, what if it's everyone looking down?
Yeah.
And the guy is going, "Hey, I scored," to alert the audience that he scored a goal.
Oh. What if okay, 3 times. The only 3 home runs that the Royals made were done to complete silence because Yankees fans were savage. We will not even show the replay, let alone celebrate the run. You can't. It's the loneliest, quietest success in baseball.
Yeah.
He's making a home run as the opposing team at Yankee Stadium.
Right.
And I feel like, because Mike, I was sitting next to my mate and he missed it. He didn't realize someone had made a home run because it was so quiet, and so he was on his phone.
Right.
And I feel like there should be, if you don't have like the at-bat app that has like notifications saying someone just made a home run, there should be some kind of stadium-wide, like a flood alert system going,
That's
someone
funny.
just made a home run, look up.
Yeah.
That's something, I think. Like in New York particularly, we get these storm warnings and blizzard warnings and flood warnings on our phones. You get them in Australia as well when there's a bushfire. But they just send them out. I feel like in the baseball stadium, they just send out a notification to everyone in the stadium, look up, someone's doing something.
Yeah.
That could be a thing, I think.
I don't know. I'm a bit worried about the phone, everyone on their phones being a bit of a well-worn.
It's definitely a well-worn trope. In Europe, in North America, South America, Australia, everyone, that's all anyone jokes about now.
Yeah, and has it ever been fun? It's like,
it was funny.
You do this too.
Early.
Guy making this.
Yeah. Well, unless you're the butt of the joke. That's my thing, is when you're the butt of the joke where something happened to you because you were doing it.
Oh, I understand that. Yeah.
You're making fun of how stupid you are for doing it, rather than going, oh, what's with everyone on their phones? Like, what? Everyone does that now. It's like, what's with everyone going to the toilet? Yeah. So it is an odd thing to make fun of on its own. It needs something else on top of it.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we circle back to
It's like bread. Just needs some Avo smash on it. All right, next one from Josh O'Connell. Thank you, Josh. Loved the last episode. Thank you, Josh. No ideas yet. Well, hang on.
Oh, Josh is angling for a co-host here.
Isn't he? Unbelievable. Remember, we don't read these before we bring them up, so there's no vetting. Oh, a thought for the pre-war, post-war joke. Now,
oh, yeah, that's right.
It was a real estate agent showing people around a building in New York, saying, "Oh, well, it's post-war, but it's also pre-war." If you're going by the current Trump administration, could the property the broker is showing just be a Trump property, and then the caption be something simple like, "Well, it's post-war and pre-war," with the coming war being related to Trump implied, so that it isn't. You don't have to say anything about Trump. Now...
Oh, I think that was a given already.
Josh, I think that might have been a given.
Yeah.
And putting Trump on a building is literally the definition of SS.
SS. Yeah.
But I get your point. May I remind everyone that we're doing cartoons for the New Yorker, so there are some givens. So when one reads the New Yorker, you imply that the reader knows a certain amount of background on the context of the cartoon.
Right.
In the way that when you go back and read the 1929 through 1956 cartoons, so much of it is lost on you because you just weren't a part of that era. The vernacular was different.
Really? Right.
They're just completely
Did they do a lot of Hitler stuff?
Yeah, tons.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a lot of very overt SS Hitler stuff, actually. But it was early days. I mean, they were still finding their feet. But yeah, there was a lot. A lot of war stuff, a lot of depression stuff, a lot of post-war, pre-war, mid-war. There were a lot of war artists who became cartoonists.
Right.
Yeah, and there was a lot of stuff, interestingly, like the captions were very long. The captions were quite
Because we
long.
had one that we thought was going to be the longest caption in history.
That's true.
And then other cartoonists started sending us. They'd be pages long, these captions.
Michael Maslin, who runs the Ink Spills blog, which is the sort of unofficial New Yorker cartoonist blog,
Right.
he sent me one which I think was from Charles Adams, and it was a page long.
It was. Yeah, that was the one you sent me.
It
Yeah.
was a novel.
Yeah.
Because we thought that the Town Crier cartoon was the longest one we'd ever done. But unfortunately, we were pipped once again by Adams.
Yeah.
I think it was Adams. Good news, by the way.
What's that?
We sold another cartoon to the New Yorker,
Oh,
my
yeah.
friend.
Hey, way to go,
There
us.
you go. Yeah, you and me.
Look at us go.
It was in a previous episode. We're not going to tell you which one, so you can't go back and figure it out. But when it runs in the magazine, we'll let you know which one it was.
We're hoping it'll be this week.
Hopefully,
Because
yeah.
it's a...
We actually have a chance of getting two in the same issue.
unheard of.
The unheard of. Because we've sold a couple
Your move,
recently.
Ellis Rosen.
Sold a couple recently where it's, as we say, there's no cartoon meeting this week, so it's a double issue again. Summertime this happens. And so maybe we get
Who knows?
Chatto and Dools double header.
Bloody classic.
Classic. So Josh O'Connell, Trump pre-war, post-war.
I do like that as an idea.
I did like the idea, yeah. The pre-war, post-war idea of a real estate agent.
I think Josh's caption might be a bit better than our one.
It's pre-war but post-war.
Yeah.
It's post-war but
Pre-war
pre-war.
and post-war. Was that? I can't even remember what the caption
He
was. now.
said-
It was in last week's one, wasn't it?
It's post-war and pre-war. Yeah, it was in last week's batch.
Post-war and pre-war.
Yeah. That's actually not... I mean,
So I like that.
it's pretty efficient. It kind of gets...
It's very efficient,
Gets to the
yeah.
crux of it, which
Yeah,
we love.
yeah.
That word economy.
Yeah, I don't like putting the Trump on it, though.
No. But it should be implied that it's in
I
the
think
Trump
it's-
era, even
I
if it's a
think-
Williamsburg loft. I
Yeah.
mean. Yeah. Yeah, all right. Moving on. There's the next one from Stephen Dallywater.
Good name.
Thanks, Steve.
Dallywater.
Stephen Dallywater sending something.
Remember June Daly Watkins?
Yeah.
Etiquette.
Did
She
that
was in
roll off the
Etiquette. Yeah, it was a great name.
tongue? Yeah, etiquette.
She was the etiquette woman, June Daly
yeah.
Watkins. It was like a finishing school.
And
And
Watkins,
for all I know about it is that
Yeah.
you were taught how to walk with a book on your head.
Yeah, and then know which fork to use with
That's right.
each course. Yeah,
Did
that's
they
it.
drag her out for... Do you remember Aussie Ladette to Lady? Where they'd get a
Oh,
bunch of like
yes.
scummy chicks and then
Yeah.
put them in a mansion.
Was there an American equivalent of that? Like Jersey Shore to Upper West Side? Like what would
Well, no,
Ladette to
because
Lady
Americans...
be?
The American idea of
Oh, apparently there's no class here. So.
etiquette... Yeah, but the idea of etiquette being attached with good man... It's not as hand in hand as it is in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, okay.
Because we associate it with royalty.
Of
And,
course.
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
It's a
Where-
direct lineage. Yeah.
Whereas here...
yeah.
They're like, fuck, I just bought my way in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one was born into the
Interesting.
lounge.
Yeah. I must say, though, in the South, in Georgia, in Oklahoma, there's some states that really still value the old worldy, like...
Yeah, the ones that fought against slavery.
Point taken. Point taken. So Stephen Dallywater, here's his suggestion.
Did we essentially accuse Stephen Dallywater of being a plantation owner?
Stephen Dallywater,
I hate it.
did you type this or did you get someone else to do it for you?
Just scream this at a manservant, you piece of work.
I can't wait to find out if Stephen's like mates of a mate of like my mum's. Go, did you make fun of Stephen Dallywater? Is there something in this? He says, on brand. I got a massage the other day. All right. As always, silently endured an unnecessary level of pain on account of my man pride. This got me thinking. Is this all a game for the masseuse? Do they sit around laughing about how far they can push their victims before they finally complain? Anyway, I was thinking something along the lines of a dude on the massage table, tear in his eye as an elbow is jammed into his spine with the caption, "The ancient art of enhanced interrogation techniques. You'll probably do better. Love the show, Steve." What? So the idea being the massage is an enhanced interrogation technique. It's
They're two ideas.
Are
To
they?
me, I think they're two separate
Oh,
ideas.
okay. So the masseuse torturing the person with.
I wouldn't
maybe
even.
small
I
talk.
just think just the caption goes over to another image, and then
Oh,
that
okay,
one. I
right,
do
right.
like that idea.
The elbow
It's
in the
quite Mad
spine.
Magazine
It
the
is a
way
little
I'm
bit.
seeing it.
It's very Al Jaffe or Sergio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say
Very
it.
like "Ugh."
Aragonus, you can say
The
it.
Sergio Aragonés,
Yeah.
yes, my favorite cartoonist.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
Yeah.
I always think there's such a fine line between a massage and a wrestling maneuver. Like they look so similar.
What if it's a guy on a massage table and the masseuse
With
is
the mask
with the
on.
mask, with the
There you
luchador
go.
mask, and he's up on the, when they climb up on the thing, and ready with an elbow out, ready to
You may
jump
feel a
off.
slight crack.
Yeah, this might hurt a bit, or you might feel like. I wonder if there's even a caption.
I don't
my
think there
favorite
is a caption. I don't think there's a caption.
My
there at
favorite
all,
cartoon
yeah.
is one without a caption. That's why I love Sergio.
Yeah.
And if it's, they have a luchador mask, and so there's two versions of this. One, they have the full leotard and the luchador mask, and they're in the wrestling match. There's a crowd around them, and then the guy in the middle of the ring is on a massage table with the towel around his neck. That's quite a funny little duality. The other one is that it's a massage parlor, right? It's a nice peaceful there's a little smoke thing and a music.
Yeah.
And the guy's on the massage table, but the masseuse has has the ropes and the thing, and is climbing up on the ropes with the elbow ready to dive in. And you could add, this might hurt. You might feel.
No, I
this,
don't think you need that.
I don't think you need.
I
it.
think that's implied.
I think that's really funny.
Can we have just as a very little Easter egg in this, other things that they do, like the folding chair special,
Yeah.
You know, those
the
kind of-
folding chairs up against the wall.
Yeah.
That's
just
great.
something like that. Just all
That's
those
funny.
little kind of
Yeah.
wrestling tropes.
And then just off to the side, you can see that table. You know, the folding
There's
table.
always the trestle table.
Trestle table.
Right
Yeah,
next
yeah,
to
yeah.
it.
That's funny. I reckon that's a joke.
I think it's a joke. Yeah.
I love that.
That's funny.
Thank you for pointing us in that direction,
But
Stephen
enhanced
Dalleywater.
interrogation technique is
That's
also
a separate
funny
Yeah, that's a separate
idea.
cartoon.
Yeah,
So-
no, it's a different cartoon.
Yeah, ancient, he says, the ancient art of
Ancient.
enhanced interrogation techniques, Mission Impossible style, where they've got the guy in the chair with the hog
With the
tied and the
thing,
thing.
yeah.
And he always opens the case with all the metallic, they called him the Bone Doctor, it's always some name for the guy who's an interrogator.
So the way I'm seeing it is if it's an ancient thing, it's actually in ancient times, but it's just something that your mum does to get you to tell the truth. Like whatever,
Don't make me count to 10.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So the idea that interrogation being what it is now, and there's a few, associations with it, with Guantanamo and such, but if there is an interrogation technique where it's like a couple at a dinner party, those excruciating conversations that you can't extricate yourself from?
Yeah.
That's one of them. Like asking about what podcast are you listening to?
Yeah.
Or do you reckon he did it in Serial Season 2? What do you think of Bo Bergdahl? There's got to be some more excruciating thing than having your fingernails pulled that's a social thing. Like an interrogation technique where instead of going, where are the other trucks going? Tell me that it's like, what did you think of season 1 of Wild Country? Or, give me your opinion on...
I'm trying to think of the things that people hate hearing. I had a dream
excruciating.
about. That's always annoying.
Oh, yeah. A guy in a chair, tied up, hog-tied, and the guy's got the table, right? And he's got the coffee, and he's sitting there, and he's got torture stuff, but he's like, but first, let me tell you about a dream I had the other night.
That's great.
Maybe smoking.
It's really funny.
Just before I do this.
Yeah.
Sorry I have to
The
do this.
dolphin was my mother.
What about...
But it was still a dolphin, but I could tell it was my mum.
But what if it's... You leave me no choice. I'm going to tell you about a dream I had the other night.
Yeah.
And maybe the caption is alternative interrogation techniques.
Or I'm trying to think of those
Torture.
other torture.
Alternative torture techniques.
Alternative torture techniques, or
And the guy's like,
one,
no!
Yeah.
He can't get
Let me
over. He's
tell
like,
you
please,
that-
I'll do anything.
Let me tell you about John Oliver from last night.
Yeah.
That kind of
Yeah,
people telling
yeah.
you the John Oliver
Oh my god.
story.
Yeah. And trying to like
Yeah.
transcribe it to you
Yeah.
without the John
Yeah,
Oliver-ness.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
No, I
always
think
fun.
a dream the other night's the one.
That's great. I love that as the most excruciating thing. I love my wife to death, but when she starts telling me her wonderful dream, look at your face. You're like, you're gonna get yourself into trouble, Chatfield. No, I love her to death, but I stopped telling her my dreams about 2 years in, realizing I can't. I'm so sorry, honey. I didn't realize I was doing that. And hers are crazy. I think she thinks she's giving me suggestions for the pod.
Sure.
Sometimes they're so wacky that I'm like, that might actually make a pretty good cartoon.
Is there something in the idea of, it's a bit set up punch, but the idea.
Nothing wrong with that. You keep
Well,
denigrating setup punch.
Just if it's done in a clunky way, I think it's a bit.
You mean like vaudevillian sort of Catskills comedian joke?
I just think that like the setup's implied in the image.
Sure, that's the joy of the cartoon.
Yeah, whereas like if you're doing it with the words, it doesn't. That's what I meant. But anyway,
that's all right. Point taken. Yeah, all right.
But now
I'm sorry, I've lost you.
Yeah,
your
that's
thing.
all right.
I was talking about Sophie giving suggestions for the pod based on her
okay,
dreams.
dream analysis.
Yes.
A dream analyst just saying, you're off your fucking head. Like, I always think that there's got to be a point with a psychologist or a psychiatrist where they go, no, you cooked.
You cooked? Drinking your own bathwater,
Yeah,
mate.
sorry. You're just done. Yeah.
You're drinking your own fucking bathwater. What if there's a therapist? I love a therapist cartoon. Love a therapist cartoon. One of my favorites is, it's a, it's so silly. It's a father on the therapist's lounge, and the therapist in the chair, and this little boy has just walked up. He's standing next to him, and he's like, "One day, son, all this will be yours." It's so silly. And it came out in the 90s during Lion King. And I remember thinking, that's such a... People with therapy, like who have gone through therapy and have all of that, are riddled with anxiety and just the kind of... what do you call it? Mental... like Woody Allen-esque.
There's kind of neuroses.
Neuroses is the word I'm looking for. It's like one day, son, all this will be yours.
That's a good joke.
And it's like
Yeah,
all
it's
this
nice.
neuroses will be yours.
Yeah.
But he's in the couch, on the therapist's couch, like.
This has probably been done, but
I wish I knew who did that one. Yeah.
a couch, someone on the couch, and instead of a therapist with the clipboard, it's a dog, a therapy animal.
Stop.
That's
Really?
been done a million times.
Oh, no, that hasn't been done a million times.
Yeah.
998.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
But
right.
it's not bad, yeah. Anything with a dog on a couch, yeah. Anything with a dog on a couch. Hi, Jason and Dools. Is there anything in this? Well, you've gone off script there.
Yeah.
Eric Carlson. Loving the podcast, by the way. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
This is very SS. Well, Eric, you know that we can't use it then.
Let's see. It
But
might
let's have a
be
listen.
okay.
Scene. A Nazi Christmas party.
Oh, God.
Right.
Oh, is that the SS he's referring to?
It's very SS. Everyone dressed in full Nazi regalia. Confused looking...
I love how we still call it regalia.
Yeah.
Like as if there's something kind of
It's a uniform.
tasteful about it in some way.
I guess he's thinking parapet.
I know exactly what he means. And I'm not having
yeah.
a go at him for using the terminology.
But
That's
we're
what
using
we
that-
say. But
we say regalia, but there's nothing
it's
regal
like,
about it.
yeah.
It's very like, ooh.
Yeah, like Charles was in regalia for Harry's wedding.
Yeah, but
That's-
Harry was in regalia and got in
That's
trouble.
right. That's right. He did dress it as a bad example.
So, Nazi Christmas party, everyone dressed in full Nazi regalia. Confused-looking bloke arrives in costume dressed as a ship with SS uniform stenciled on the back.
It's actually not the worst thing I've heard in my life.
Caption, Hans misunderstood the dress code.
I don't think you need the caption.
I think it's called a dress S code. You don't need the caption. You just have a guy coming in as a ship with SS on it. That's Eric.
It is pretty.
I love that Eric's clocked onto our dumb sense of humor as
yeah,
well. He's going, oh, they'll love this one.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, here we go. Here's one for him. Very funny.
Should we do one more?
Yeah, let's do one more. All right. Elliot Ma. Hey, mate, loving the pod. Well, it's plural. There's a couple of mates, but anyway. Something for you and fools after the talk. Oh,
Fuck him. No.
He's mistyped duel.
Doesn't matter. Fuck him. We're not hearing it. We're not hearing it.
Autocorrected.
Not hearing it. No.
That's the episode title. Something for you and fools.
No, seriously, don't read it.
All right, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Elliot.
I'm sorry, Elliot. We're not reading that one because I'm afraid. I'm afraid Dulls is a very fragile ego. Megasaurus 53. This is the last one, okay? And anyone who didn't make it into this episode, keep listening. You know that you're going to be in the next one. Hi, Jason. Is there something in this? I'm a fan of the pod, although only up to episode 5. I have some catching up to do. You're goddamn right you do, Megasaurus. Bouncing off you and Dooley, he spelled it right, final days. Is there something in this? Maybe David Remnick, he's the editor of The New Yorker,
Right.
at a press interview with a mic. This is the final days of people saying it's the final days. May have to wait for Trump to do something else stupid. Won't have to wait long. Would have been a good op last week with the Helsinki summit, but sure, another opportunity will arise. Love your work in the pod. Cheers, Meg. And Meg's another one who's actually drawn up the cartoon for us to show us what it looks like. It's David Remnick.
Meg's very good.
It's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good on you, Meg. It is funny because, so David Remnick, when the day that Trump got elected, he wrote an article called An American Tragedy. And
I don't get this joke.
He has been, oh, you don't?
No.
Okay, so a lot of people particular in the New Yorker, and Meg, very perspicacious of you, you've noticed the rhetoric at the New Yorker.
Right.
Every few weeks when there's a disastrous Trump thing, something that clearly he could never recover from, some kind of compromat or the Helsinki summit or whatever. Yeah. They'll say, we're in the final days of Trump. We're in the last days of the Trump administration. They're so insistent that we're close to day dot.
I had an interesting kind of thought there. I was at a place and someone was saying there's a lot of Australians in New York at the moment. Like they've been living here for a while and they're like, there's really a lot.
Also, mate from Australia, by the way, yesterday said there's a ton of expat US people since Trump got in, now living in Australia.
Oh, right.
So that's an interesting observation.
So what I was thinking was like the idea, and I don't know if it's ubiquitous enough or it's just the circles we move in, but the idea of like, were there a lot of Aussies in Rome just before the end of the empire?
That's funny.
Like,
just
I don't know
reading up on it.
Yeah.
Just frantically going to the end of the book, the Roman Empire. Going, now, how many Aussie immigrants? Were there a lot of Aussie immigrants?
Yeah.
That's so funny because I do feel, as you know, that's how I open my act. I say I've wanted to live in America my whole life.
Oh, you should maybe use that in your stand-up then.
I don't know.
Just as something to be like.
I wonder if there are a lot of Aussies moving to Rome just before the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, they brought them in a
or even the idea of like we're just not very clever. Like apparently Rome was overrun with Australians before.
Moths to a flame.
Yeah.
This is the perfect analogy.
We all bought up Pompeii. Fuck, that worked. You know,
we all invested in Manhattan just as it got hit.
Yeah.
It is a depressing thing. Just a quick thing. On the weekend, I did a comedy club in Jersey. I did Friday, Saturday night in New Jersey. And in New Jersey, which was thoroughly red in the election.
Yeah.
And then you've seen the interactive map on the New York Times that they've done, down to the council. Like each little thing, it's completely thoroughly interactive map, red versus blue. And there's just little tiny patches of blue in Vermont, Connecticut, New York. New York State was red. And then, little tiny bits in like Colorado.
It's good to see we're not trying to perpetuate any divisions that might...
Yeah. So when you're on the road and you're doing jokes, you don't want to do Trump jokes because you'll just completely alienate yourself and the audience. Unless you're the butt of the joke. So even now, it's a real trigger for a lot of people. So I go up there and the first thing I say is I've wanted to live in America my whole life. I feel like I caught you guys at a weird time.
Yeah.
Even Trump supporters laugh at that because they're
like, yeah,
it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But in Jersey, in Princeton, New Jersey, home of Princeton, the university.
Yeah.
It's divisive because there are this small sect. There's a bunch of people with highly educated college.
Have a mass wedding every Thursday.
They wear funny hats. And they are staunchly anti-Trump. They're the never Trumpers. And then there's the rest of the people in Jersey who are like, oh yeah, well, we voted for him. Whoops. But they're not like going back on their thing. They're going, well, better than Hillary. They're still saying that.
Yeah.
So the last days, that rhetoric is a very bubble. They call it East Coast humor. When you're on the road, they call it East Coast humor. Any of this stuff that's very esoteric to either California or New York City. And saying the last days of the Trump administration is like saying I'm sorry, did it say final days?
Final days, yeah.
Final days is like saying in 1938. Well, it's the final. It's all right. It's the final days of this Adolf guy. Someone will usurp it. It's fine. It's the final days. Because not to draw too many.
No. But this is the thing: is I have been thinking a lot lately of Nazism kind of references.
Yeah.
But I think it's so hacky.
It's hard not to.
It's hard not to, but I think it's very hacky.
There are words for it. There's literally a word for how quickly something descends into a Hitler comparison.
Well, that's the thing. That's how you've lost the argument when you. Yeah.
So this cartoon, which I quite like the idea of. Remnick will laugh at it. He just won't buy it.
Right.
It's the kind of thing that he'd go, yep. And then kind of...
What about this, though, as a twist? If it's a news reporter saying the Trump presidency enters its 500th final day.
Oh, that's a better... Yeah. That's not bad. That's kind of more of a hopeful, like, left-leaning... news anchor. Like, instead of doing the first 100 days,
well, it's like Megan's...
It's the last 500 days.
Yeah, it's like Megan's joke of today was the day Donald Trump finally became president. She's put that up every day since he came on. It's a very good... and she just does
it. Is that Megan Amro?
Yeah.
That's
but it's one of those funny things, though, Jason, where...
It's so funny.
It's a really good joke, like, to kind of to what we were talking about earlier in this episode.
Yeah.
The idea of it allows you to project whatever you want onto it.
Totally.
And there has been something every day where you're like, oh, that's funny because of this thing that he did.
We're recording this on a Monday today. He threatened to shut down the government if he doesn't get his wall funding. And I feel like every single day today is the day he became president.
Precisely. Yeah.
Every single day.
Right. Yeah.
It's the perfect joke.
Yeah. It's a nice joke.
I love it. That's so good. I haven't seen it. That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's every single day she puts it out.
Amazing. Well, listen, we got tons of suggestions. We didn't get to all of them. Thank you to everyone who sent them in. We will read. If we didn't get to yours this episode, you know that we've got plenty more to go. A reminder that we are having a live episode, so just hit us up on Instagram, DM us. We'll give you details about that if you're interested. If you're going to be in New York City...
if you're interested, as if like...
If you're interested. If you're
we're going to be rounding you up.
Yeah. If you like the pod and
we need your wrist size for handcuffs. That's the only thing we need from you at this stage.
If there's a chance you're going to be in New York, or you do live here, you're based in here, or you're going to be anywhere in New York, in the near future, DM me. I'll give you some details, and we'll be doing a live podcast.
Qantas has competitive flight prices.
Oh, does it? Have you been looking it up since Collingwood are at number 3?
Someone. Oh yeah. Well, no, the Pies won't be in the grand final. Imagine someone flew from anywhere to watch us do a podcast. Wouldn't that be funny?
That'd be amazing. I mean, we'd have to give them free drawing, I think, at least.
I was thinking a drink, but yeah.
Like
buy you a drink.
I think.
Hey, local beer only.
That's great. Only on happy hour as well, like 4 till 7.
If you'd gotten here early. Hey, listen,
sorry,
that flight delay's on you, pal.
All right, well, that's the episode. Thank you. Please send in your suggestions.
So what's going on next week? Sorry to kind of...
Oh, yeah. So next week... I don't know. So the schedule's all mucked about. So
We might take a week off.
yeah, because they're not
Summer holidays.
Summer holidays. So we might take a week off and then come back. So this will give you all a chance to go back and listen to catch up on all those episodes that you keep telling us that you're not caught up on yet. So we'll give you a minute to catch up, and then we'll be back with you before long. So thank you for sending in.
This is so wishy-washy.
I know, isn't it?
We don't know what we're doing.
We don't know what we're
We'll
doing.
be back.
Yeah, we'll be back.
Subscribe.
It's the last days. All right, see ya.